The Tenno for the Japanese. In Japan, the emperor is referred to as the Tenno. What image comes to mind when you think of the Japanese emperor? Do you picture an emperor in the traditional sense, or perhaps a king of Japan? While the Japanese emperor may bear some resemblance to the modern British monarchy in terms of image, there are numerous differences both historically and culturally. Moreover, while being the sole figure to hold the title of emperor in the contemporary era, the Japanese emperor's role significantly diverges from what one might typically associate with an emperor. In fact, it might be more accurate to compare the emperor to the Pope in Rome, as a religious symbol rather than a political ruler. The Japanese emperor, through its complexity and extensive history, forms the core of Japanese culture. The emperor transcends mere political symbolism, standing at the heart of Japan's identity and cultural traditions. In this regard, the Japanese imperial system is distinct from Western monarchies, possessing its own unique characteristics. Of particular importance is the emperor's continuous role throughout Japan's history, transcending political changes. Over various periods in Japan's history, amidst the shifting political landscape, the emperor has maintained a position as a symbol of national unity. The emperor's religious role and cultural significance. The Emperor of Japan is deeply connected to Shinto, the indigenous religion of Japan. Traditionally, the emperor has been regarded as a descendant of the deities and plays a significant symbolic role in Shinto practices. In modern times, while the emperor does not officially hold a role within an organized clerical hierarchy, his participation in Shinto ceremonies holds great cultural and traditional importance in Japan. These ceremonies, graced by the emperor's presence, are not only religious rituals but also central to the preservation and celebration of Japanese cultural heritage. Historical background of the emperor, from the Yamato period to the Kojiki. In the 4th century, a unified government known as the Yamato court emerged in Japan. During this era, the emperor, referred to as the Great King or Okami, was considered the ruler of Japan. This rule continued from the 5th to the 12th century, marked by the suppression of non-submissive tribes and clans. Records of alliances and conflicts with Korean peninsula states indicate that Japan was a significant political force in the region during this period. In the early 8th century, the compilation of the Kojiki, or Record of Ancient Matters, formally established the mythology and history of the emperors. In this text, the emperors are depicted as sacred rulers of Japan, descendants of the gods since the creation of the world. To understand the role of emperors in this period, one might liken them to the pharaohs of ancient Egypt, wielding divine authority and vast territorial control. Even with the introduction of Buddhism in the 6th century, the reverence for the imperial system remained unshaken. The emperor was seen not as a god but as a descendant of gods, unaffected by the arrival of Buddhism, which did not subscribe to a singular deity. In this context, the term god in Japan, known as kami, is more akin to the diverse deities of Greek mythology than the singular god of Western tradition. Subsequently, the Fujiwara clan, relatives by marriage to the emperor, seized actual power. However, the source of their authority remained rooted in the emperor, so replacing the emperor with one of their own was never considered. The sole attempt to usurp the emperor by a man named Dokyo was thwarted by Wake no Kiyomaro. This incident stands as a rare exception in Japanese history, highlighting the deep respect for the imperial position. Dokyo's influence and eventual downfall might be comparable to the story of Rasputin in Russia. No further attempts to threaten the emperor's position are recorded for a considerable period following this event. The rise of the samurai and the emperor's symbolic role. During the era when the Fujiwara clan held power and the emperor was largely a symbolic figure, a significant event occurred: the disbandment of the national military forces known as Sokomori. This led to local nobles across Japan arming themselves for self-defense, paving the way for the emergence of the samurai class. There were two main types of samurai, one descended from the emperor and nobility, known as the Genji or Heike clans, and the other descended from the aforementioned nobles. There was a clear distinction between these two types, and later, the military leaders who established and ran the shogunate, or military government, were all claimed to be descendants of the Genji clan. This distinction underscored the unique nature of Japanese samurai, whose authority was derived from the emperor. Unlike in other countries, the emperor of Japan was rarely deposed or usurped,
partly because of the stringent maintenance of the emperor's status.
The birth of the shogunate and the relationship between the emperor and the military government.
The establishment of the first military government, the shogunate, in Kamakura, Japan, can be best understood by comparing it to the relationship between the Pope and the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. In the early days of the Holy Roman Empire, the emperor's authority was endorsed and legitimized by the Pope, who also crowned the emperor. Similarly, in Japan, the emperor's granting of positions to the shogun and other military government officials served to endorse their authority.
Thus, the relationship between the Japanese emperor and the military government mirrored that of the Pope and the emperor in the West.
The Emperor of Japan held a sacred status, while the military government exercised real power under his authority. For instance, being labeled an enemy of the emperor within Japan was tantamount to being a rebel. This was something Japanese leaders greatly feared, similar to how Henry IV of the Holy Roman Empire experienced humiliation at Canossa after being excommunicated by the Pope. Although the Emperor of Japan did not wield military power, his declaration of someone as an enemy could significantly undermine that person's authority. Therefore, leaders of the time paid respect to the emperor and honored his status, despite his lack of territorial or military power. This relationship shaped Japan's unique political system and played a crucial role in the nation's history. In medieval times and beyond, as the military government gained prominence, the emperor became more of a symbolic figure, while political power shifted to the samurai class. However, the emperor's symbolic role helped preserve his status and maintain absolute authority.
This symbolic role continues to this day, with the emperor occupying an important position as a symbol of Japan's history and culture. Summary: the role and significance of the emperor in modern Japan.
In modern Japan, according to Article 6 of the Japanese Constitution, the emperor holds a ceremonial right to appoint the Prime Minister and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. However, as per Article 4, Section 1 of the same constitution, the emperor has no powers related to government affairs, rendering these appointments purely symbolic. In practice, the Prime Minister is nominated from among the members of the Japanese Diet and officially appointed by the Diet's decision, while the Chief Justice is appointed by the Cabinet. In this way, although ceremonial roles remain, the emperor does not engage in national politics. Despite lacking political power, the emperor holds profound significance for the Japanese people. The emperor wields considerable moral influence and functions as a powerful symbol of Japanese identity and national unity. The emperor often visits disaster-stricken areas, offering words of comfort and encouragement to the victims, embodying a role that resonates deeply with the hearts of the citizens. These activities demonstrate the emperor's role as a symbol sharing in the joys and sorrows of the people. Furthermore, the emperor plays a critical role as the custodian of Japanese culture and traditions. Ceremonies and cultural practices maintained by the imperial family form the backbone of Japanese culture, and their preservation and transmission are essential elements in maintaining Japan's identity. The emperor's involvement in Shinto rituals and the imperial family support of cultural and artistic pursuits are widely recognized, both nationally and internationally, as symbolic of Japanese culture. In this respect, the Japanese monarchy is fundamentally different from Western monarchies, possessing unique characteristics.
While Western monarchs often exercise political and military power, the Emperor of Japan primarily emphasizes cultural and religious roles.
Throughout history, the emperor has played an indispensable role in the development of Japanese society and culture.
They have consistently contributed to national unity and the preservation of traditions amidst the nation's transitions.
As discussed in this video, understanding the role and significance of the emperor from ancient to modern times is vital in comprehending Japan's complex and rich history and culture. Finally, the examples and comparisons used in this video are meant to deepen the understanding of the emperor's role, respecting the uniqueness of each era and culture. Understanding the Japanese emperor, considering their intricate history and unique cultural background, will undoubtedly lead to a more profound comprehension.
That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching.
If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. Feel free to share parts of this video as long as you provide a clear link to this video and our channel.
Our goal is to spread knowledge about Japan to people all around the world, so please use this content freely.
However, if you intend to monetize using our content, we may request a portion of the earnings.
Using this content maliciously is strictly prohibited. Moreover, we cannot compensate for any disadvantages or issues arising from the use of this content.